Hi everyone, and welcome to the final class of our 4 weeks of lockdown Pilates. So today is going to be a knee friendly, which also means wrist friendly because we won't be on the hands and knees. There will be a few leg exercises, so if you have any trouble, then only take these movements as far as you are comfortable. So we're going to start with a little bit of warm up with the legs. So I'm going to get Brad to just stand with his feet either side of the mat. So that should be a little bit wider than your shoulder width apart if you don't have a mat and you're just doing it on the carpet. Maybe come in just a tiny bit. All right. So we're wanting to imagine that our back is right up, right up against a wall. Maybe doing it against a wall might not be a bad idea. So up against a wall, and I'm just going to do it front on so you can kind of get both views. And we're going to make sure that we only go as far as we feel comfortable in the knees, and we're aiming to try to keep your knees turned out so that they're in line with your second or third toe, and your feet should be turned out at about a 45-degree angle. We're going to be breathing in as we imagine we're sliding down the wall, and we're going to bring the hands just straight up in front. And then breathing out as we drop the arms down and return back upright. Breathing in as we come down, and breathing out as we return, squeezing your bottom. Again, just double check that those knees are staying in line with the toes, not coming in. If your feet are turned out too much, then it's going to make it hard to line your knees up. So make sure that you have your feet and knees aligned in a position you can manage. Brilliant. So Brad's getting some good depth. We don't have to go that deep, but if you feel you can comfortably do that and keep your weight in your heels, that's good. All right, last one, and back up. Great, and then we're going to do some little pulses. So just going about 25 or 30 degrees down here. So we're just coming down, little squat and hold. Now again, make sure that your weight's in your heels. We haven't traveled forward over the toes. You should be able to wiggle your toes, squeeze the glutes, and we're pulsing for 10, 9, 8. Keep the breathing going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and returning up. Wonderful. Stepping the feet back in, lining the feet up parallel now. We'll do a few roll downs to get us down to the floor. So breathing in, lengthening up through the spine. As we breathe out, tuck your chin to your chest and start to roll down through your spine, rounding one vertebrae at a time. Take a breath in down here, and as you breathe out, squeeze the glutes, tuck the tailbone as we restack back up tall. Breath in, breathe out, squeeze the glutes as we roll down. Keep those glutes squeezed. Think about trying to keep the hips narrow by keeping those glutes nicely squeezed. And exhale, tuck the tailbone as we roll up. Good. Last one. Exhale as we roll down. Marvelous. And then once we're there, we can just soften the knees a little, walk your hands along the mat, and then we're just going to come into a sitting position. So just lowering one hip down to the floor, and we'll bring the legs straight out. We can keep Brad facing this direction. Right, now we want a rolled up towel for this one. So we're going to make that into a decent roll. Now, if you're quite stiff in your knees and you can't quite get the leg out very straight, you might want two rolled towels or a pillow, or even a foam roller under your knee if you've got one. And actually you can shuffle back a little bit, Fred. All right, so we're just going to pop that rolled towel under both knees. We're going to just rest back and prop onto your hands. Now again, you can lean up against a wall if you've got any wrist problems here. All right, just coming into there. All right, now actually this is quite a small pillow. Just above the knee. Yep, this is quite a small pillow, so I'm just going to make it a little towel. So I'm just going to make it a little bit chunkier for Brad. So we're going under the left knee to start with. So don't worry if it's not under the right leg. We're just going to bend the right leg up and rest that on the floor. Now we're going to focus on contracting our thigh muscle and our quadricep muscle. And it also helps if you squeeze your bum a little bit to do this. So we're going to squeeze the bum a little bit. Tense the thigh muscle by pushing your knee down into the towel. Flex the foot towards you and then lift that heel to straighten the knee, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and resting down. And then again, contract and lift and hold for 5. Keep breathing. 2, 1, and resting down. And one more just like this and hold. 4, 3, 2, 1, and resting down. Now from here, we're going to do some little mini lifts. So we're going to keep that leg nice and straight, flex the foot, lift up to straight and hold. Keep that thigh muscle contracted, keep the chest high, and then we're doing 5 little lifts up to this, about the height of my hand here. So lifting up, 4, whole leg, yep, whole leg. Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down. Excellent. And then we'll change legs. So move that rolled towel or pillow underneath your right leg now. Again, if you need to, you can even also lower down onto your elbows if you prefer. Again, lean up against a wall if you've got any wrist problems here. So again, try to contract your thigh muscle, push your knee down, flex the ankle and straighten. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax down. Again, flex the foot, press down and lift for 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Last one, coming up to hold for the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then getting into our full straight leg lift. So we're flexing and lifting, holding, keeping that knee nice and straight, keeping that muscle contracted, and lifting up a few inches for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and resting down. Wonderful work. From there, you're just going to shuffle forward a little bit, Brad. You can have a lie down onto your back, and then we'll do a full straight leg lift with each leg as well. So we're just, again, still working on those thigh muscles. We're going to have the right knee bent. Rest the head down. If you want a pillow, feel free to do that. We're going to tilt the pelvis back just a little bit so we're not overarching the back. We're going to, again, tighten that thigh muscle, flex the ankle back towards you, and then we're just lifting to about a 45-degree angle. So as we exhale, engage the abdominals and just lift to 45, breathing in to lower down. And again, nice breath out to lift and breathing in to lower. Keep that thigh muscle nice and tight, and we're just going to do another 5 and 4 and 3, 2, and last one. Excellent. And then bending that knee, we'll change sides. So the right leg comes down flat now. Again, just engage the abdominals, tilt the pelvis back a little so we're not overarching. Tighten the quadricep muscle at the front of the thigh and flex the ankle. And as we exhale, lifting up to 45 and then breathing into lower. 2, excellent. Go for another 6. Try to keep the pelvis nice and steady. Make sure there's no tipping or rolling. So there's quite an abdominal challenge with this. Last couple here. And down. Brilliant. And then we'll bend that knee. And we're going into some pelvic bridges. So we're going to start with your feet and your knees nice and close together. Again, we're going to do a little different variation on our bridges today. It's going to be in a little alternating between a parallel position and a slight frog leg position. So from here, we're going to keep the arms pressed down to the floor. As we exhale, we're going to tilt the tailbone, squeeze the glutes and lift up into a bridge and hold. And then we're going to just part the knees so that we've got a diamond shape and roll into the outside of your feet. But try to keep your feet still sort of parallel with one another. So kind of like you're on the outside of your foot. And then lower the hips down. Exhale, keep those knees apart, lift up, bring the knees back together and roll down. Breathe in to prepare. Exhale, lift. Breathe in, open. Exhale, lower. Hold, inhale, exhale, lift. Knees in and roll down. And 2 more sets. Coming up with parallel. Split, hold the split, roll down. Little breath in here. Roll back up again. Breathing in, back together, roll it down, and hold there. Brilliant. Going into a little bit of ab prep. Now, if you do need to support your head, feel free to put your hands under your head. Otherwise, we're going to just keep the arms now up towards the ceiling. Now, as we breathe out, we're going to draw the arms down. We're going to curl up through the head and shoulders into ab prep. Hold there. We're going to breathe in, arms come up. Exhale, hands go over your head. Keep the ribs down. Breathe in, arms come up to 90. Exhale, curl up, reach the arms. Inhale, coming back down to the floor. Exhale, hands continue overhead. Inhale up to 90. Exhale, curl into ab prep. Inhale down, exhale overhead. One more time. Inhale to the ceiling, exhale to curl, inhale to the ceiling, and exhale overhead. Lovely. And bring the hands in behind the head. All right, from there going into a little oblique twist, and we're lifting one leg into tabletop at the same time. So we're going to start turning to the left, lifting the left leg. So breathing in to prepare. As we breathe out, lift the left knee and curl up to the left. Breathing in as we come down, lift the right, curl to the right. Breathing in as we come down. Exhale, lift and curl. Inhale down. Exhale, twist. Keep those hips steady on the floor. We've got 2 more each way. Lovely. See how Brad's keeping the elbows nice and wide, really trying to lift and rotate through the upper back. Last set. Final one. Excellent. And resting down. Marvelous stuff. And then we'll go into our final ab exercise in this position, which will be the single leg stretch. Now, if you want to do this in a curl-up position, that's great. If you feel there's any strain on your neck, feel free to keep your head down or put your hands behind your head. But we'll go into the full one. So we're going to bring one leg at a time up to tabletop. Excellent. We're going to raise the hands a little, and as we exhale, we're going to curl up, and we're just going to place both hands on the left knee. As we exhale, right leg reaches out. Breathe in, it comes back to tabletop. Move the hands to that leg and exhale the other way. Inhale back to tabletop. Exhale. Great. Now see how Brad's got a really nice curl ups, keeping those shoulders lifted off the floor. We'll do one more each side.
So 2 more now.
Yep, 2 more. Excellent, lovely. And finishing there and resting down. And hug those knees in towards you. Give the legs a good roll around. Loosen out the back. And then placing the feet back down onto the mat. All right, we'll go into a little bit of upper back work now. So we're going to just come over onto, actually you can turn over onto your stomach, but I'm just going to get Brad to bring his head down the other end so he's got a bit more arm space. Okay, and we're just going to do some arm raises with the arms right out wide. So we're going to go into a nice T position or aeroplane position with the arms. All right, now again, there's different stages with this one, so you can just do the first stage if you've got any shoulder trouble, because it can be still quite challenging. So we're going to squeeze the glutes, engage the abdominals a little here, and tuck that tailbone. Now from here, the first stage is we're going to breathe in and we're going to rotate the arms so that the thumbs turn up. So we're rotating, and as you do that, you want to roll the shoulders back and down at the same time.
Am I lifting?
No. And then relaxing down. And again, so we're going to roll back, roll the shoulders back. Think about trying to open and stretch the chest a little here. Keep rotating the hands. If you can go a little further with that rotation, feel free to. And back down. And then again, inhale, rotate, hold. Now, if you can, you're going to focus on drawing the shoulder blades together and raising the hands off the floor. Excellent. We're going to hold there and keep breathing. If you haven't been able to do the lift, that's okay. Just hold the first position, holding for another 2 breaths, squeezing in between those shoulder blades. Excellent. Last breath. And then relaxing back down. Brilliant. Let's just do that one more time. So we're going to rotate the thumbs up. Hold. Focus on squeezing back between the shoulder blades, working across the back of the shoulders as we lift the arms. Squeezing between those shoulder blades. Again, working here, opening the chest, keeping those thumbs up, holding for one more breath. Keep the abs and glutes working. And then relaxing down. Brilliant. And then just bring your hands alongside your hips now. Yep, still may need the pillow, but this time going into an upper body lift with the spear. So we're going to squeeze the glutes, abs on. Breathe in to prepare, roll the shoulders back, exhale, lift the head and chest and the arms reach long beside the body. Hold for a breath in and breathe out, release down. Breath in to prepare again, breathe out, squeeze and lift. And again, think about the length rather than the height and releasing down. Good, just 2 more. Exhale as we lift. Keep the chin tucked in, back of the neck long, and release. And last one, squeeze the glutes, engage the abs. Don't let that stomach push into the floor, and releasing down. Excellent work. And then we're just going to go finish off this one with a swan extension. So hands are just either side of the shoulder, either side of your head. We're going to breathe in, roll the shoulders back, lift up to the elbows. If that's as far as you feel comfortable going, just hold there. Otherwise, exhale, press through the hands to lift. Breathe in, drop back to the elbows, and exhale all the way to the floor. Breathing in, come to the first position, exhale all the way up, pull the stomach up with you, and down, and all the way. And we'll go 3 more, lifting through, and down, and release. Last 2, making sure that we don't lead with the head, we're following out to the horizon, trying not to poke the chin out at the top. Last one, glutes on, abs on to protect the lower back, and down, and release. And we'll just go over onto your back and hug the knees in for a little stretch. Okay, so once you're on your back, just draw your thighs towards you. You can either hold on the top of the knees or behind your knees if you prefer, just to give the lower back a little bit of stretch out. So normally we do a shell stretch, and if you feel comfortable to do shell stretch, feel free to do shell stretch if you really get the best stretch for you, but just knee-friendly class, we're just leaving it out today. Now we also just want to stretch the front of your hip a little bit, so we're going to keep your right leg hugged in. We're going to stretch the left leg down onto the floor. Now as we hug this right leg, we are stretching the right glute, but we're also stretching and opening through the front of the left hip as well. And then changing sides. So we take the right leg down, we'll bring the left leg up. Again, hug that in. If you've got any jamming in the front of your hip, feel free to take the leg a little bit wider if you need to. Yeah, out towards the kind of outside corner of your shoulder is fine. If you're feeling any discomfort in your hip or groin, don't try to push through that too much. Other option is to actually use a towel and hook that around behind your thigh so you don't have to pull that in quite so deeply. Alright, and then once we're down from there, we're just going to keep the knees bent, place them on the floor, feet on the floor. So both knees are bent, and we're doing some hip rolls. So working into our oblique muscles, but also getting a little bit of a stretch at the same time. So arms should be out at 90 degrees. We've got the feet and knees nice and stuck together here. Tilt the pelvis back a little, connect the ribs down. We're going to breathe in to prepare, and as we breathe out, we're going to roll the knees together to the left-hand side. Your head can turn to the right. We're going to hold there and take a little breath in, and use the exhale again to come back to center. Breathe in the center, breathe out, the knees go off to the right, the head turns to the left. Little breath in, and exhale, abs on, shoulders stay down and back. Little breath in again. Exhale as the knees go to the left. And exhale, abs on, zip and hollow, return. 3 more. Exhale. Breath in there, and exhale, ribs down, navel to the spine. Try to get that lower back down to the floor. And exhale as we tip. Last set. Keep that opposite shoulder down to the floor. Exhale, return. Last one. Try to keep those knees glued together. Exhale, return. Then ribs down, lower back down. Brilliant. Bringing the arms down. We're going into our next set of abs. Alright, so we'll go into our hundreds with these ones. Now, if you want a little bit more challenge, we're going to try and add in a double leg stretch on the exhale. If you want to keep your legs in tabletop, that's absolutely fine. And remember, when you're extending the legs, the higher they stay, the easier. The lower you try to go, the harder. You don't want your lower back to start arching up, so just make sure that you work to a level you can control. So we're going to bring the legs into tabletop position, one at a time. Breathe in to prepare, and as we breathe out, curl up and reach the arms nice and long. We're breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and reach, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tuck, 2, 3, 4, 5, and reach, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and reach, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, remember the double leg stretch is optional, so if you're getting any trouble in the back, just keep the legs in tabletop. That's 50. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and reach, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slide those shoulders down, draw the navel into the spine, and reach, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last 20, and navel into the spine. Last 10, and reach, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hug those legs in and have a break. Circle those legs around. Have a little stretch. Alright. And then finishing this ab lot with the oblique twist. So we're going into tabletop position again. Hands are coming in behind the head. Now as we exhale, we're going to curl up and twist to one side, extending the other leg, breathing in as we go back to the floor. Exhale as we alternate. As we twist, make sure again, keeping the pelvis nice and steady, trying to keep the leg that's in tabletop nice and steady. Don't allow it to tuck closer towards your chest. Think about curling to the leg, not the leg to you. Last set.
That's it.
And then have a little rest. Okay, now we're going to do one more lot with those obliques. Tricked you by saying it was the last one, but it is still the obliques. It's just doing it a little bit quicker. However, feel free to stick with the first version that we just did for this last lot of obliques. So we're going to start with those legs again, one at a time in tabletop. This time, hands come behind the head. We curl up and hold the curl up position. And we're going to be breathing in and then out as we switch to the other side. Into one side, out to the other side. No stopping in the middle. Straight from one side to the other, going for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Make sure you finish on the opposite side to where you started and rest down to the floor. Excellent work. Alright, now no class would be complete without a little bit of glutes. So we're just going to roll over onto the right hand side. Just doing a little clamshell set. So we've got the right arm extended. We've got the knees tucked up and the hips tucked there. So we've got about a 45-degree bend at the hips. We've got abs engaged here, gently tucking the tailbone, connecting the rib cage down. Lift the feet just a little off the floor and hold. And as we exhale, abs on, turn up the top knee. Breathing in to lower down. Exhale as we lift. Inhale as we lower. Again, abs working so we don't overarch the back, and be careful really not to roll your hips backward because that will be using the other side, the front of your hip. And just doing 2 more from there. Excellent. And then we're going to lift up and hold that position. Keeping that position, and we want to do little upward pulses for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and resting down. Going into a little donkey kick here, so we keep your knees together, and then we just lift the top foot. So we're essentially rolling your thigh inward, but not over the front of your underneath thigh. Flexing your ankle. And we're again targeting the back of the hip and the glute. And as we exhale, we're trying to extend that leg up and back and breathing in to lower it down again. Exhale, we're lifting up and back
Again, straight.
and down. Now, the aim is not necessarily to get your legs straight. Focus on the movement coming from your hip. So as we lift, we're trying to push through with your hip. And if your knee happens to straighten, that's okay. But don't think about straightening your knees. Focus on trying to extend up and back through your hip. Make sure that your foot always stays higher than your knee, especially when we return back to the start position. Excellent. 2 more. Lovely. Excellent work. Last one. And down. Brilliant. And have a little rest. Awesome. We'll just bring both arms out in front of you now for a book opening stretch. You can still keep your pillow if you like under your head just so your head doesn't fall down too much. Keep your knees tucked in front. Palms are together. Breathe in, the top hand stretches long. Breathe out as that hand comes up to the ceiling. Slide your shoulder blades down and back as you roll back through your head and shoulder. Now try to keep your eyes on your left hand here.
So I do turn my head.
Yep, turn your head. Yeah. And then breathe in. And as you exhale, return back together. Again, nice breath in, stretch, come up to the ceiling. Slide your shoulder blade down and back. Take a breath in at the floor if you can get that far. Again, don't worry if you don't get to the floor. Keep practicing. And last one. And exhale up and over. Keep your eyes on the hand. Breath in and exhale, abs on as we return. Lovely. Moving the head down to the other end.
Yep.
Or rolling over. And the left arm is going to extend up above you this time. Again, in our clamshell position, so hips and knees should be bent. Heels are together. Alright, abs are on. We float those heels up an inch off the floor. And as we exhale, we lengthen the top knee up to the ceiling and breathing into lower. Exhale, squeeze and lift and breathing into lower. Excellent. And exhale as we lift. Inhale down. We'll do 3 more. Lovely. Keep that work into those glutes, not letting the front of the hip catch. Alright, and on the last one, we're coming up and we're holding. Keep those heels squeezed together and pulsing up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees down, lower the feet down, and then keeping your knees together, we rotate inward through the hip as far as your hip will allow, flexing through the ankle, so we're leading with the heel into our donkey kick. So exhaling as we press up and back, and breathing in as we lower. Again, the foot should always stay higher than the knee, both when you're kicking and when you come down. Again, we're in this slightly rotated position, so we're working the internal rotators, but still working our glute muscles to really work through that extension.
So I'm trying to go slightly back.
Slightly back, yep. Kind of on a diagonal, up and back behind you. I know it's a weird sort of movement, but I guess we're not donkeys, so it's a bit awkward for us. Last 2. Excellent. Last one. Should hopefully be feeling that in those glutes. A little bit different and resting down. So again, it's always nice doing something different, and it usually wakes up a few new muscles you didn't know you had. So arms come out in front, palms together for our book opening stretch. Again, break and come forward a little. Make sure you have got room behind you. Would hate to miss out on the full stretch. So we're going to stretch long as we breathe in. Exhale, the hand comes up and over. Remember, follow your hand so that you don't end up twisting your shoulder into an awkward angle. And return. Oh, we still run out of space for Brad. Never mind. Hopefully you've got room behind you at home. And again, reaching up and over. Roll the shoulder blade down and back. Take a breath in. And exhale as we return. Last one, stretch long and then up to the ceiling. Squeeze the shoulder blades down and back. Again, Brad's bending his elbow just because he's got the wall, but try to keep your arms straight at home. And return back. Excellent work. Now we want to just roll over onto your front and just lift up onto your hands and your knees/toes. So we're going to press up and back onto the feet. Lovely. Walking your feet a little closer, walking your hands a little closer to each other. It's okay if you need to bend the knees slightly. Tuck your chin and roll up slowly through your spine. And then we're just going to stretch the glutes a little with a cross-legged roll. Again, it can challenge the balance, so feel free to have a wall close by. So we're going to cross the right foot over the left. And then we're going to just run the hands down the side of the body, tucking the chin to the chest, and eventually trying to get your hands to meet behind your left calf. Yep, that's the one. It is challenging on the balance. And then rolling back up, tucking the tailbone as we restack. Bring the right foot back and change over. Left foot comes in front. And again, we roll down, slide the hands down the backs of the legs, down to the back of the right calf. And slowly back up. Lovely. Uncross the legs. And we are all done. Thanks for joining us. I hope you've had fun.